As Bitcoin is down nearly 50% this year, the bears are out in full force, and their arguments center around three key points. Google searches dropping about 75% this year, trading volumes also down, and the price stuck below $10,000. But Fundstrat's Tom Lee, Wall Street's biggest Bitcoin bull, says each of those points is wrong. So let's do some point-by-point myth-busting. Tom, welcome to the show. Let's start off with the Google searches. Why do you think searches being down is irrelevant?
Well, Google searches aren't a leading indicator for Bitcoin. I think it's actually a coincident indicator, meaning as the price has fallen, I think interest has dwindled, but I don't view that as signaling Bitcoin's not going to recover by the end of the year.
Okay. Trading volumes, why don't they concern you?
Well, trading volumes are down huge. From December, they're down close to 80%. But you have to remember, December was the parabolic blow-off for Bitcoin. And compared to just the second half of last year, Bitcoin volumes are up 40%. And compared to a year ago, the same time, January to June, Bitcoin volumes are up 900%. So I think that volumes have actually been pretty healthy.
And then let's get to the price. Why can't Bitcoin break through 10K?
Well, it's, Bitcoin has really some technical issues, right? It's kind of a busted chart, and I think was some uncertainty and regulatory overhang. But you have to keep in mind, Bitcoin makes all of its performance in 10 days in any year. So I don't think the fact that it's at the current levels is going to prevent it from actually rising before the end of the year.
Hey, Tom, how about just the idea that it's not just Bitcoin, that it's all, I mean, they're all trading together, aren't they? I mean, do you really see Bitcoin underperforming, and therefore, is this really a gloss off the entire space?
Well, I mean, I would say actually...
Do you think the price action is different? I'm sorry to cut you off, because maybe I didn't ask the question. Is the price action different for Bitcoin than it is for the other major alts?
Well, Bitcoin and the other tokens are all going to be highly correlated. But I would say if you want to measure real underlying demand, this year ICOs have raised close to $10 billion year to date. That's double the entire ICO raise last year. So, I mean, there's still a lot of activity, and I think institutions still have a lot of interest. But at the moment, I think it's kind of, we're in purgatory with regard to regulatory clarity, and I think that's going to keep institutions on the sidelines.
Well, the SEC just named a crypto czar.
Yes.
I mean, in terms of the overhang, what makes you so confident that this 10-day stat is actually going to hold true this year, a year in which ICOs are being cracked down on, the SEC has appointed a regulatory czar here? I mean, things seem to be coming to a fore on the regulation front.
That's right. So this is an important year, and I think if I was an institution and I was going to make an allocation into crypto, I'd probably want some clarity. So I think those are certainly keeping new fiat dollars from coming into crypto. But crypto and blockchain and Bitcoin, I don't think Bitcoin has risk of being regulated out of existence, because number one, it's doing fine outside the U.S. And as you know, China even said blockchain is central to its growth.
There's a long way between 7,500 and being regulated out of existence for people to lose money on.
Well, yes, but Bitcoin still works great today. It's a great store of value. I think it works really well in terms of digital transactions, and I think it's a great example of security. I mean, in 10 years, not a single person has entered a fraudulent entry on the blockchain. That's trillions of dollars of on-chain transactions. None of them have proven to be fraudulent.
So let me ask you, I read your notes. You had a $6,000 all-in cost to mine Bitcoin?
Yeah, that comes from our data scientist, Sam Doctor.
Would that create a floor?
We found it, if you want to think of a floor as the price of Bitcoin versus the cost of mining, from the Bitcoin bear market in December 2013 to January 2015, Bitcoin bottomed at its mining cost. So price to book went to 1.0. Today, that mining cost of 6,000 means that should act as the floor for Bitcoin's price now.
Except that with each additional Bitcoin mined, the mining cost goes up. As time goes on, the mining costs
go higher. Yeah, what happens is, there's halving and then there's difficulty. So there's a couple of factors driving cost. Plus, if you get more efficient ASICs, that's going to reduce the mining cost.
Okay, Tom, good to see you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Tom Lee of Fundstrat. What do you think?
So here's the thing. If you're a long-term believer in this whole thought of digital assets, and you're going to buy into his store of value argument, and then you're going to buy into things like censorship resistance, you're going to buy into this immutable ledger, and nothing that's happened in the last 7 months is going to change that thesis. Nothing at all. If anything, it may embolden you a little bit to see the sort of fluctuations that we had at the end of last year, the crash that we've had this year, and the continued investment in the projects to upgrade the network, but also invest in these projects like these ICOs, which are now getting to the point of 10 billion on the year.
But I could push back and say that I don't think anyone disputes blockchain technology and why it makes a lot of sense for a lot of businesses and a lot of sectors to go after it. But what you're seeing is once the SEC and a lot of players come in and take out a lot of these fraudulent ICOs, et cetera. I mean, what we're learning is that a lot of this was a speculative frenzy, right? I'm a believer. But to say that a lot of these currencies were just people getting in there to trade something that was opaque and had an enormous amount of volume.
Hey, that was my big belief last fall, that it was legal gambling on your iPhone, no doubt about it, but it hasn't stopped the investment we're seeing in the VC community, in the fintech community, that sort of thing. So to me, I think at 7,500, up from 1,000 in January of 2017, I think we're still doing okay on the thesis.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.